In the last video, we went over what slope is, what the definition of slope is. And just a reminder, slope is rise over run, or the change in y over the change in x. And you may see it represented by the letter m in equations. Now, what does that mean? Well, the change in y is how far up or down, how far up or down the line goes. And then the change in x is how far to the right or left. So that would be change in x and change in y. So that's just a reminder. Now, you can have positive slope, you can have negative slope, you could have zero slope, or you could have undefined slope, undefined. And I'll go through these real quickly. Positive slope. Now, when you look at a graph, read it from left to right. And if the slope, if the line is going up, when you read it from left to right, then it's going to be a positive slope. Now, if you read it from left to right and it looks like it's going down, that's going to be a negative slope. And why that works is if you had 2 points, if you go up, your change in y is going to be positive, and your change in x is also going to be positive. And if you go down, your change in y is going to be negative, and your change in x is going to be positive. So when you write the slope, remember it's the change in y, so how far up or down it goes, and in this case it's going to be a positive over a positive, which is going to give you a positive slope for this one. And then for the negative slope, you have a negative over a positive, which will give you a negative. And that's assuming you start at a point on the left and you go to the right. If you do it the other way, then you'd have a positive, you'll have a positive y and a negative x, and you'll still get a negative slope. Now, when could it be a zero slope? Well, that's if the line is horizontal. Because if you start at one point and you go to another, well, the change in y is going to be 0. It doesn't go up or down. So the change in y is 0. And the change in x, well, that could still be positive. Or it could be negative. It doesn't really matter. If you start at a point on the left and go that way, it's going to be positive. If you start at this point on the right and go left, it'll be negative. So it's either positive or negative. It doesn't really matter because 0 divided by anything is still going to be 0. So you'll have a zero slope. Now, an undefined slope, you can probably guess what this is going to be. It's going to be a vertical line. A vertical line is going to be undefined. And the reason why that is if you pick 2 points on that line, and let's start at the top one and go down. Well, your change in y would be negative if you go down. It'll be negative, so your change in y is negative. Your change in x, though, it doesn't move side to side. So your change in x is going to be 0. And when you divide anything, whether it be positive or negative, divided by 0, you can't do it. It's going to be undefined. Undefined. So a vertical line is going to be an undefined slope. And again, if you started at the bottom dot and went up, it would be a positive value for y. But it doesn't really matter because you're trying to divide it by 0. And you'll get undefined. Okay, so you have your positive slope, you have your negative slope, you have the zero slope or undefined. And in the next video, we'll actually explore finding slope if you're given a picture of a line or if you're just given 2 points, how we can find the slope.